Hey guys, how you doing? Uncle Bob here once again with another video, and today we're going to be doing the review of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie DVD review. And it was released, can't remember exactly the date, it's hard to keep track of all the films that come out, but it's released a few months back, obviously this year. Uh, like many of the movies, I try to go and see them at the cinema, but most of them I don't get around to getting to see, and then eventually I just get them on DVD. And this was another one. Yeah, so it was out a few months back, not long ago. I'm not sure how well it did at the cinema. I'm not sure if it did as good as the other films that they came out, previously. But if it's Planet of the Apes franchise is quite popular, so I guess it done reasonably well, even if it didn't do as well as the others. But I think it's quite popular. Going back to even before the newer recent ones, the old ones with like Charlton Heston and that. To be honest, I think the old ones. I think going back, I think they were probably before my time. I grew up in the 80s, so I think they were sort of like before my time, and I never really took any interest in them. I might at some stage check them out. I might even add them to the collection, but I don't know. But I was, you know, more into the more newer ones. Yeah, but obviously now this one is in the. Now I'm not sure if this is starting in a separate line of films, because we had obviously the one with Mark Wahlberg, Planet of the Apes in about 2001, and then there was sort of nothing, and then there was the new Planet of the Apes. Then there was Dawn, Planet of the Apes, and obviously War, the Planet of the Apes, and now there's this one. I'm not sure if this is continuing from that, like fourth installment from that series of movies, or whether this is going to be a separate line and then there's going to be another lot. I'm not sure what's happening, or whether it's the last one. Well, pretty much that's the last one, but yeah, I don't know. It's continuing from that anyway. I mean, I include it in that line of films. Now, I didn't really expect there to be another Planet of the Apes film so soon. I think the last one, I'm not sure I thought the last one was like 2018. I think it was sooner than that. I think because I think Dawn was 2014. I think War was like 2017. Oh, so maybe it might have been quite a while, yeah. Last one. Oh, so it might be, well, ready for 7 years, maybe. All right, fair enough. But I think it probably should have been longer. I think it's too soon for the other one. I think it should have been maybe like at least a 10-year gap before they made a new one. I think it was maybe too soon. And also, I didn't really know if there was any need to bring out Planet Apes, or at least, not for a while. I think it was maybe just too soon after. Yeah, I think it should have just maybe ended with War of the Planet Apes, but they decided to keep it going. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was always interested in seeing it anyway, to see what it had to offer as regards to, well, I do like the Planet Apes, the more recent ones anyway. But yeah, I just thought it was too soon. But yeah, now the cast. I mean, it's not really. What's it? It's got Owen, Sigu, Freya, Alan, Kevin Durand, Peter McCann, William H. Macy. Oh no, he's been in a few films. So a few people I'm not really familiar with. So it's not it's not like a big cast. We know you know, big names that are in it. There doesn't appear to be. Only, I mean, I've only ever heard of William H. Macy. Not heard of the others. So it's quite like sort of, I guess, a young cast. But there's not like big names. Like last time, there was big names, wasn't there? Can't think off the top of my head. But there was, yeah. Usually get in these films like a few big names, but in this is not really, as I said, apart from William H. Macy, it's not really big names. Like more newer, younger actors and actresses in this. The the plot itself, it's sort of set years and years. I'm not sure how long exactly, but years and years after the events of War of the Planet of the Apes. That's like, I think in the movie it says like, because I've only seen this once so far, and I think it says like generations after. So I'm guessing it's years and years after. Uh, as I said, don't know exactly, maybe 10, 20 years. I don't think they said specifically. They just said like generations after. But yeah, it's the events. You know what happened with Caesar and all planning out. Uh, so it's set sort of, as I said, generations after that. The events of War of Planet Apes, and basically the main plot is sort of um, a young ape that is sort of left as an outcast, sort of, and he's discovering uh, basically he's discovering what his, you know, what his purpose is, and you know, um, discovering what happened in the past and what he's supposed to be, whether he's supposed to be good or bad, and sort of, yeah, he's sort of discovering a bit about him, you know, what his purpose is and what um, you know, what went on before and how it all came to, you know, be and whatever. Um, and yeah, and then he's got to make a choice whether he's gonna, you know, join the evil leader of the apes, or whether he's become good, and then he's obviously got to decide what's the right, you know, the right thing to do. Sort of, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think the plot is quite basic. It just it feels. I've got the sense of sort of you know, if this was sort of like a new thing where they had this story, and I think, yeah, fair enough. But I think coming from Planet of the Apes franchise, considering what they did before with all the stuff like Dawn of Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes, it's sort of, you know, it's sort of gone already past that stage where someone's like a young ape discovering who he is, and sort of it seems like it's already gone past that stage. It sort of seems like it's going backwards or sort of starting again, sort of thing. You sort of like, yeah. I mean, the idea was there, you know. It's sort of, you know, I get what they was trying to do, but it just seems, yeah, I don't know. It seemed quite weak. It didn't seem like anything sort of, you know, you expect these movies to sort of get bigger and better as they go along, you know, like after the events of War Planet, it's something, you know, bring out another movie to be sort of bigger and better than that. And I don't know if it was really, to tell the truth. It's sort of, as I said, sort of, yeah, I don't know. The story I was a bit weak, and it sort of seemed like it was, you know, it should have already been done before, and it sort of like felt like it was going backwards, sort of thing. Um, I mean, that's what I got anyway. And it's quite weak in terms of that, to be honest. Um, yeah, and it sort of, yeah, sort of set out that, I mean, the beginning was quite was quite good, uh, and then, you know, developing into the story, and he was interested to know what was going to happen after the events of War of the Planet of the Apes, and then it sort of You know, you get introduced to the characters, and then there's a bit of action that goes on, um, and then it sort of yeah, it sort of starts to develop into the storyline. But then it's sort of like a bit slow paced. You know, he's sort of like the ape who's discovering who he is. He's sort of like left as an outcast, and then he's sort of discovering who he is, and then it's like quite slow, and then he meets up with a few. He meets up with another ape who he gets friendly with, and then he meets up with the female human. I can't think of what her name is, but he meets up with her, and then they sort of like go out on a journey together. You know, discovering, and also the villain ape is like he's after them. And he's on their trail, and they're sort of like, and then there's sort of a bit of action, so then it's sort of all right, um, which seems to be all right. Then again, there's a bit where there's not much happening. Then there's another bit of action, and then there's a bit where there's nothing happening. They get captured, the young ape, and the other ape, and the human. They get captured by the villain ape, and then there's sort of nothing happens for a while. It's all a bit flat, to be honest, because there's nothing sort of happening because they get captured, and they're captured for like quite a while, but then they sort of escape, and then they're trying to find some sort of answers to why it all, you know, uh, uh, stuff from the past or whatever, and they go off to sort of find that sort of answers or whatever. They go off on like a little journey, and yeah, they sort of go off, and then this sort of villain catches up with them, and then sort of like another battle takes place, which is quite good because after a while there's nothing happening, and there's sort of another battle that happens towards the end, which is all right in places, quite good. So then that's the last sort of like battle scene, and then there's a confrontation like right towards the end between the young ape and the villain leader, and they sort of fight off, and then yeah, the ending is okay. It's so. But yeah. Now, as I said, uh, it's certainly not as strong as the other previous Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Apes, and Dawn of Planet of the Apes, and War of the Planet of the Apes. It certainly doesn't match that in terms of not only star quality, with the cast, but the actual storyline, where it was much like Humans against Apes, which was really the main plot. And to begin with, this is more of apes versus apes, to be honest. Although there's only pretty much one. I think there's only one human in it. I think, or only one main human. So sort of this is more, generations later now. It's more apes versus apes rather than it being the main thing before when it was apes versus humans, which I quite preferred because it just seemed like it just, it was just a battle, between humans and apes. But now it's more of apes versus apes. And yeah, I think it's weak in terms of matching up to the others anyway. Not only the storyline, but the cast is certainly way weaker. There's just not enough big names there for it to hold up. And as I said, the other thing where it's sort of, I think it wasn't long enough a gap for another one to be coming out. I think it was just too soon. And I think the action is all right, but when you compare it to War and Dawn here, yeah, it's not as good. I think the action is sort of like quite moderate-y. I know it's moderate anyway because it's a 12 and it's not doesn't seem. Although the violence in the other ones seems to be quite uh, better. And I think the action is so-so in this. It's not doesn't look good. Visually, it looks all right, but I don't think the action scenes are maybe probably as epic, and probably don't look. Yeah, I don't think the action scenes are as good. So cast isn't as strong as previous. Action isn't as good. I think the storyline's just quite weak, and I think it should have been far longer before they made another one. And also the other issue is the time of this. It's really long. It's about. I mean, I had it on the time come up when I had it playing. I think it's like 2 hours and 18 minutes, which was far too long for this. I think I think around about the 2 hour mark should be more than enough for these type of films. Um, I didn't mind something like War Planet Apes being longer because I thought that was sort of like the last one, and I quite liked War of the Planet Apes. To be honest, I thought it was really good. But I think for this one, probably should have been. I mean, it should be in 2 hours even or less. I think 2:18 for not only for a Planet of the Apes film that was sort of one after sort of because it wasn't even the last installment where it needed to be this long. I think it was over too long. Um, it's another issue of it, and I think that when there's just for me it's just that that too big of a gap where there was sort of they get captured and there's just sort of like such a long gap where there's just nothing happening. I think it was like 45 minutes or nearly 50 minutes before anything happened again, and it was sort of too much of a long. I think with any film you need something, at least something going on to sort of keep you uh, you know something going on rather than just being nothing. Just sort of being like, and it was. I think there was just too much time where it was just like flat and nothing happening. And I wasn't really that excited. As I said, I think the action was all right, but not as good as the previous ones. And I think it was just not exciting enough. Yeah, I don't think it just. As I said, I mean, it's not really. I mean, I'm struggling to give this even a 5 or 6 out of 10. I think, to be honest, the other Planet Apes got like was at least 8 or 9 out of 10. But this, I mean, I'd be kind to give it like 6 out of 10. I don't think it's like along the lines of 8. But I'd say. I mean, I was struggling giving it like 4. But I think 6. I don't think I could give it a 7. I think it's got a few too many issues. It's a bit flat. There's stuff that's not much out. The action is not as good. The cast is quite weak. So it's too long, and it's too long of a film. So it's, I think I'll be kind enough to give it a 6. And also I think maybe give points to maybe it being visually good. The apes look cool. Maybe the characters look cool. The villain ape looked quite cool. Actually seemed quite a strong villain. So give it to that. I mean, the good ape, the young ape, seems like a nice ape, and he seems cool. There's some cute sort of animals in it, birds and stuff. And as I said, it's not. I mean, I can't really say much positive sides, but as I said, I do like the Planet of the Apes, and the nice idea was there. And I just think, I think there's just too many things that could have been way better. And it's far too weak when you compare it to Dawn and War. It's just far too weak for that. But overall I say 6 out of 10. But yeah, I mean, I would still recommend it to people who haven't seen it to give it a try. And as I said, this is only my opinion. It doesn't mean that it's right, and some other people may have found it, enjoyable or better than the other films. But to me, I don't think it is. I think it's just got too many issues and not enough positives for me. But yeah, that's my review on this, guys. I think that's going to be long enough. I didn't want it to be as long as this, but yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it there. So, guys, that's my review on this. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye for now. See you soon. Thanks for watching.